go to our website. We're going to be visioning for our next journey together. As many of you know, we went to Egypt in November and December of 2024 and had a wonderful time. And so the community is ready for the next journey. So please put it on your schedule. Join us as we engage in our sacred practice to assist us in identifying where to next.
All right. If you can stay for a second. Yeah.
Okay.
So, today is Rev's birthday.
Yeah.
And I think Sydney kind of said it all with regards to all the things that make the Center of Peace special. And I'm sure we could all come up with hundreds of things, but today we're going to concentrate on one of those things, and that's Reverend Twana. So I'm going to ask, as she does every week with us, with new members, if you will, extend love from your heart and hands, and repeat after me. Today we celebrate you with our hearts full of gratitude.
Today we celebrate you with our hearts full of gratitude.
We're thankful for your life, your light, and joy.
We're thankful for your life, and joy.
May this year bless you with love, health, and endless happiness.
May this year bless you with love, health, and endless happiness.
You are cherished, and we are grateful to have you as our spiritual leader.
And we are grateful to have you as our spiritual leader.
And so I'm going to ask Cynthia and Alima to come up, and you can stand here. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm hijacking the service.
It's all good.
Rev, I could say a million things and it would never be enough. You are the most supportive, loving taskmaster that anyone could ask for. I am so grateful, and the Corps is so grateful to have you in our lives and as our leader. So it is with much love that Alima and I would like to present you this card from the Corps.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I failed to mention that Alima and Cynthia, oh no, don't go anywhere, are the leaders of the Practitioner Corps. Next, we're going to have Luz come up to say something on behalf of the congregation.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Woo, she energized me. So I had to write some things because honestly, I'm nervous. So I'm going to forget something, and I don't want to forget a word. The first thing I'll say is that when I first walked into the center, the love that I received was unmatched from any place else that I was. One of the things that I realized and I acknowledge time and time again was when I met Twana. She said to me, and I'll never forget those words, she says, "Welcome to the Center of Peace. If you ever need anything, all I am is a phone call away. If you're here at the center and you need a prayer, please let me know." And she held on to that word, because let me tell you something, I even called her at 7 in the morning one day. I needed her, and she was there, and she delivered. By the time I was done with that phone call, I was brand new, full of life, ready to go to work and do my thing. And that's what happened. I wrote something because, again, I don't want to forget anything, but I feel supported here. You know, I've made a lot of great friends who have turned into family. And you can't make that stuff up. You just don't go into any place and get welcomed like that. I've been to many places and never felt welcome the way I do here. So many beautiful people. Twana is amazing. You know, I feel supported by her, her dedication, her compassion her integrity, her helpfulness, her willingness to help, her kindness, her love is unmatched. The powerful words that she uses week in and week out, whether I'm here or not, I'm looking and I'm listening. She's a powerful force. A powerful force, and it hasn't gone unnoticed. We appreciate you. We love you so much for all that you do and all that you are. Thank you for your powerful words each Sunday. Thank you for everything that you do for all of us, because whether you understand it or see it or realize it, you touch a lot of hearts. And for those that have not taken out the time to meet this lady, I am honored to have her as my reverend, as my friend, and now has become my family. I trust her with everything that I have. I've gone to her with things that I wouldn't go to no one else, because it's hard for me to just trust anyone. And the fact that I trust her the way that I do, and I've come to her numerous times, we've had talks, and I will say that a lot of me has changed because of the things that she puts out there. Her dedication to everything that she speaks about, her compassion when she throws it out there, I've never seen anything like it. And I've dealt with reverends, pastors, all types of church, and it's like, no, thank you, I'm good. And then I come here, and it's like, what you see with me is what you get. I either like you or I don't. If I love you, you know it. If I don't like you, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to lie. I'm very, very real, and she's real with me, so we match. You know, again, I'm honored to be in your presence, to be in your space. Thank you for having me here, and Uvi, we really, really appreciate you, and we're thankful for you. Thank you.
Jerry Walker.
Oh, my goodness. I want the tears to flow.
Okay. I just put down some notes. You all know that Rev T and I were in practitioner training together, right? So that was 22 years ago. And I thought that I was the most blessed person in the world to have this person as my prac partner. And I always said that we were the remedial ones. That's why there were only two of us. But meeting her was like meeting the sister I never had. And I like Luce. I didn't know this about you, Luce. I'm very private. I don't share a lot of stuff. And for those of you who do go into prac training, you know that all your stuff is just out there, and you have to be in an environment where you really trust the person who is there. And Reverend Sheila always created that space. But after becoming prac partners, she became a friend, a real friend. And again, it is nothing more than precious to have a friend that you can say anything to, and a friend who's not going to BS you when you say it. And it's never like, hold up. It's just kind of like, have you thought about it this way? Can we look at it this way? And it's always helpful because you're here, and that question opens you up to hear. I've laughed with her. I've cried with her, and I've just been with her. The other thing about you, Rev T, is your leadership style. I've run into a lot of people who are leaders, and you have a way about yourself. And let me just say this. For those of you who were here with Reverend Sheila, she had a leadership style. And I think everybody was kind of like, well, who's going to take her place? Who's going to be like Reverend Sheila? There's all this hesitation. Some people didn't come back. And then we got this lady who very clearly knows who she is and was not going to be changing up. It was like, hey, this is who I am. This is what you get. I'm not saying she hasn't grown in the process. But she has a leadership style that makes you feel safe, that there's a direction, that she knows a direction, she gets your input so everybody understands the direction, and then we're off to the races. Having been a practitioner, I've watched her with the core. And if you know, and I'm going to finish, Betty, I'm sorry, I'm taking so much time. I was saying that about Luz, right? You know how big our practitioner corps is, and Bellas is no longer part of it, so it's women. So you can imagine what it takes to corral, to lead, to inspire, and to listen to that much energy. She does it well. She does it very well. But she brought us good to great, completing the circle. And I, as a leader outside of this center, have used those in my own organization. So she's been a leader for me, not just here. She shows up as herself. And I was looking up love, and filial love is affectionate love. And so that's the love that I have for you. But then I found another one, pragma love, which is enduring love. And for me, having that kind of love for you makes my life worth living.
Okay, and representing the Board of Directors, Marie Amy Taylor. This is it, I promise.
Stay right here with me. A wrap of sorts for Reverend T. I've heard that rhyming ain't rapping, but I'm here to say that some of us are old school and know no other way. So I ask you to chill, even though I'm not Public Enemy, Outkast, The Roots, or Lauryn Hill, as I break out this rap that just might be all that in spite of a serious age gap. We gather together in this moment to celebrate you, Reverend T. You are our inspiration, and on that we can all agree. With your strength, spiritual leadership, commitment, and vision, you skillfully lead TCP with mastery and precision. As part of the board, you weave together fiscal accountability and spiritual grounding. Providing context and applying principles in a way that is astounding. Your ability to listen deeply and provide space for all voices to be heard, to be expressed, allow all of us to feel valued and inspired to give our best. You embrace humor and self-disclosure without fear or facade. It's the truth. And when you laugh out loud, we'll have mercy and oh my God. So we celebrate your birthday, and our words are meant to convey that you are our collective blessing and are loved by us every day. You inspire us to grow, go deep, practice principles, and our fears allay, and for that our lives have been enriched in an immeasurable way. You are fire as you inspire. You are dope and you give us hope. So as we close out this tribute, we ask everyone whose life by Reverend T has been enhanced to stand up for our incredible senior minister, because in her honor, we are going to dance.
Yeah, I think I'm a little thrown off. Cynthia, the taskmaster, don't like it. But she can accept it. Thank you, everybody, for your kind words, your presence, your love, your light, and just as I hope to share something with you from my heart that might inspire, you all inspire me all the time. And I'm better because of it, and I'm blessed by you all, truly. And I love the Center of Peace. The Center of Peace means more to me than, I won't say anything, but I will say a lot of things. So thank you again. Let's see what we're going to do here. Well, I had an idea today that we would do some prayer, that we would be moved into practice and have a little bit of praise. You know, if you're going to have a spiritual life, or say you live a spiritual life, you have to understand that it consists of two parts. There is the prayer, and then there's the praise, right? So I wanted us to engage in prayer, and then I wanted us to do some dancing, because it is my birthday. And if you are so blessed that you get to share your birthday on a Sunday with the people you love, well, I'd just like to invite you all in to do what I would be doing anyway. I would be dancing at home anyway. So a little later, I invite you to dance with me, and I hope you will, because I do love to dance. But what I wanted to say about prayer, as we've been talking about prayer then for the last 2 weeks, and we've said that the most loving thing that we can do is to change ourselves. And that the way that we change ourselves is through prayer. It is our tool to move us from where we are to where we want to be. And in prayer, Ernest Holmes says that we're not willing things to happen, but we're opening up to accepting that something different is happening. He said prayer is essential and necessary. And I just wanted to read just briefly one more time from his book titled Prayer, and I'm reading from page 140. And in it he says, prayer is for the purpose of becoming receptive to the divine influx, which already owns everything, knows everything, governs all things, and creates what we need, if we but permit it to, in its own nature, which is goodness, truth, and beauty. Each turns to the within in something after this fashion. We let go of everything. We drop every fear from our minds, drop all confusion from our thought, and enter into the inner secret communion with that great reality, which is our universal self. God, in whom we live, move, and have our being. We are conscious that this divine presence overshadows and indwells. It is both without this physical mental being and within this physical mental being. Therefore, it is the spiritual reality of this being, the I am, which is universal, eternal, and perfect. Now, this spirit is our spirit. It is our life from which we now draw full, complete, and perfect being. This divine intelligence does govern us intelligently. It does direct us consciously, accurately, unerringly. We surrender to it every fear, every sense of uncertainty of the future, every thought of any morbidity of the past. We surrender all confusion and doubt, and we know that this divine influx removes every mental obstruction to peace. It removes every sense of condemnation and judgment, and we enter into the fulfillment of its perfection now. We believe if there is any part of our physical being which needs healing, it heals it. That the power within us and around us which creates, can recreate, can make whole now. We believe if there's any conflict in our mental being, it can be removed because the spirit is higher than the mind and more than the body. I am talking about prayer because prayer, as we talked a little bit about, or as I talked a little bit about it last week, is saying that there's a difference between prayers and prayer. Prayer consists of some things. Prayer, when we are in prayer, we acknowledge divine power and presence of God. We might say something, there is a power and a presence, one life through it all, one life through exists, one life that runs through all, and no power can exist outside of it. Our prayer is made up of steps and parts. No life can exist outside of it. And when we are engaged in prayer and we are speaking these words, we believe it. We are convinced and convicted in the words that we speak. It's not just the same old, and there's nothing wrong with the same old. It renders results as well. But in our type of prayer, we move then into step 2. And in step 1 and step 2, we fill ourselves up. Remember last week I told you that before we affirm anything, we fill ourselves up on everything. So in step 2, we align with the divine power and presence of God. We find ourselves saying something like, I am the I am. 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 And you say it until you believe it. I am the I am. No other power can exist outside of it. And it being everything is where I am. I am not separate and apart from it. I am the I am. Prayer in this way moves the one who is praying and certainly moves the one who is receiving prayer. I'm trying to make this distinction here in a way that you might be moved in some way to want to know a little something more about prayer, because there is great power in prayer. Prayer is what has changed any one of us who comes up here and profess that we've been changed. It's been because of prayer. It's been because of prayer. So, I said that prayer changes us, that prayer changes you. And let me say this, that the changing that I'm talking about is the changing of the self. Little by little, prayer changes you. Moment by moment, prayer changes you. Prayer by prayer, prayer changes you. So, for us then, we really start to believe this. And in believing this, we open ourselves up to the possibilities instead of the impossibilities. We open up to what is infinite and possible instead of dwelling in what's impossible and what people might proclaim or what the world might seem to offer us as impossibilities. No, prayer moves us into a place where we can begin to see what's possible and what's available to it. In prayer, we become more aware of the availability of calm. There is a willingness to be intentional. We live expectantly instead of living from a space of expectations. We're moved from a limited perspective to high and holy perspective. We open ourselves up to radical ideas, not just any old idea or any old idea. No, we open ourselves up to the infinite possibility, a radical idea, an idea that has such power that it changes us the instant that we allow ourselves to experience it. As I said in the last 2 weeks, many of us have experienced prayers, but not prayer. Not a prayer where we are so full of it that we can then speak on it. In prayer, when we proclaim and profess it, there's nothing outside of it, and that we are it, when we get so full of it, then and only then do we speak on it. So, prayer in this way, then, it disrupts. Prayer, this type of prayer, not prayers, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Remember, prayers, there's nothing wrong with it. When I played basketball in high school, before the game, we would get together in a huddle and we would engage in prayers. But now that I'm an adult and I'm at the center of peace, I engage in prayer. There's a difference. So prayer disrupts and prayer demands our attention. And when we are engaged in prayer, we come to understand that you cannot be prideful and pray. You will be moved to be different and to do different. And if you're prideful, you won't be moved when you are called to be moved. In prayer, there is no room and time for your pride to get in the way. Because the moment we are open to a new idea and an influx of possibility shows up, if we're prideful, we'll stay right where we are. So there's no room in it. So last week, after service, several people came up to me and they wanted to talk more and more about prayer. And several people had questions about prayer last week. And then someone said, listen, you up there talking about prayer, why don't you teach us how to pray? And I said, point. You got a point right there. But here's the thing. 25 minutes on a Sunday is not enough time to teach you how to pray. We got classes for that. And some wonderful instructors who can teach you how to pray if you want to learn how to pray. If you want to learn how to demonstrate in your life. Prayers, when we are engaged in prayer, we are expecting a demonstration. We're not just praying. I expect it to be so. And it has proven itself time and time and time and time and time and time and time, over and 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 over again. Prayer works, is my point. So someone said, well, teach us how to pray. I can't do it up here, but certainly take the class. However, collectively, myself and your practitioners, we have thousands and thousands of hours of practice. We have meditated, we have contemplated, we have prayed. And so we can offer you all prayer, and it is my intention to offer you all prayer today. And I'm not saying that you have to come to one of us for prayer. Listen, I am clear that we all draw from the same mind. There's nothing special about me nor our practitioners. That's not the deal. Any of us can do this, which is why we come up here and say the things that we say to encourage you to tap into your own divinity, to begin to have manifestation after manifestation and demonstration after demonstration, and so it is, all that in your life. So I'm not suggesting that in any way. But what I am suggesting is that perhaps the practitioners and we have less to impede us. There's less fear that gets in our way. There's less doubt that consumes us. There's less that we are worrying or worried about. There's more of a willingness for us to surrender to the divine power and presence of God, to be moved into a state of acceptance and expectancy in the power of my own words and the words that I speak. We have a greater capacity to accept it. That is, we have become more receptive to the one. So, this morning, what I'd like to do is to invite anybody who'd like to have prayer. We offer prayer every Sunday. And I'm amazed at so few people who go to get prayer. I've set up a few prayer stations in the back. There's 3 prayer stations. And in a moment, I'm going to ask 3 of our practitioners to go to the back. And there, anybody who wants prayer, you can go and get prayer. Also, if you're not moved to go and get prayer, there's going to be 3 of us up here, and we're going to be engaged in what we call high watch, or holding the consciousness, and we'll be praying for those who are not moved to go and get prayer in the back. We will be praying for you, though. We have a practitioner on Facebook. If you're on Facebook and you'd like to have prayer, you can reach out to Patricia Watson. If you're on Zoom, you can reach out to Zuma Gonzalez. The point is that there comes a time where we have to engage in the practice. We don't want to just talk about it. We want you all to experience it for yourself. For yourself. So the practitioners who have agreed to go back and to be available for prayer, if you would go back and take your positions. There's 2 practitioners who are going to come up to the front and join me. If you'll bring a chair with you as you come to the front, I'll be here and I'll move us through this. We went a little long, so we're not going to do it for a long time, but the offer is there. The offer is there. As you are so moved, you can get up and go to the back. No, thank you. I'll get that one over there. So, in this moment, let us pray. There are practitioners peppered around the sanctuary as well, and know too, they are engaged in prayer. Your job is to be receptive. Your job is to be open to it. Your job is to be receptive. Your job is to be open to it.
Online. No awkward.
So as our prayers come to a natural end, we allow space for them to do so.
So it is. So it is. So let us then be engaged in the next part of prayer, which is thanksgiving. And so if our ushers would come forward, as we move into a time of sharing and giving, I want to talk about the importance of thanksgiving in the prayer. It is a great part of the prayer. We are moved into a space of giving thanks for that which we have declared to be so. When we are moved into a state of thanksgiving, we know that there is nothing that can get in the way of the thing that we've declared to be so. We position ourselves in a position where our hearts are open wide to receive. We rejoice in it in the way that it makes us feel, because we have received it first in our mind, on the inner, where we know surely that the reflection, that the demonstration will be made on the outer. Prayer moves us into a state of thanksgiving because there is a lot to be so grateful and so thankful for. Because there is a lot to be grateful and thankful for. All right. So today I'm not calling the choir forward because I said you all were going to be, I would be inviting you all to dance with me. So that's just what we're going to do. We're going to dance our way on up out of this puppy today. So Al, whenever you are ready,